So my topic today, I'm going to talk about the value of hands-on training. It's really nothing new to us, but it's kind of gotten neglected. And in our digital age, we've turned a lot to online training and virtual training. And I would guess any of you would know that that is not the same quality as actual hands-on training, right? So before I begin, how many, and I don't need to go through the financial part of this, so I'll just click through that, but how many people have heard that 3M, we opened a brand new training center, state-of-the-art training center? Awesome, a lot of people heard. How many people have been there? Awesome. Hey, Carl, how you doing? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the value of hands-on training. So we all know we're going to have a collision technician shortage. We already do, but it's going to just continue to increase. So these technicians that are coming into the industry, they got into the industry because they want to work with their hands. So why not train them while they're using their hands? So hands-on training, we train all skill levels. So everybody's welcome. We teach the kind of the sweet spot that we've run into just by doing this over the last few years is kind of that maybe 1 to 2 year technician that the shop can see he shows up every time on day or every day on time, and he's got potential. So he's gonna spend a little money and get him trained properly. So that's kind of the sweet spot, but we train all the way up to that 30-year tech, and they still learn a lot as well. And sometimes actually the shop will send a journeyman technician with his apprentice together, and that's a really great idea as well. So the hands-on environment is a better environment for everybody. Number one, you get better retention and knowledge if you're doing something and actually practically carrying out that operation than you do just by hearing about it, seeing it on a screen or whatever. So you're actually carrying out that operation. You've got the ability to then interact with the instructors directly, right? So we're right there over their shoulder telling them this is correct, this is incorrect, or you could improve on this a little bit. And then the cool part too is that we get these technicians from all over the country, all different shops, and they actually network together. And by the end of the week, they're buddies and they have each other's numbers, and they actually communicate back and forth after they leave the training, and they all have different ideas and work in different places, and that's been a really good positive, unexpected positive of the training as well. And then they get to also experience new tools and training or tools and materials that they might not have in their shop, right? So if we're training in their shop, they have the same old things, same equipment, but when they come to our place, they might use a self-piercing rivet gun that they've never used, or some other kind of equipment, the squeeze type spot welders we have, or the MIG and MAG welders that we have. So it gets them out of that environment that they're used to and into a different environment with different experiences. So the hands-on in the shop or in our facility also removes that distraction when we go out and do it in the shop. You guys all know 3M, we like to go out and train in the shops as well, and that's all good, but it's not the same as being away from the shop where the manager isn't still, bugging you to get a car out or whatever, and too much going on. So being in a completely different building is a different environment. That's very helpful. So what we have is we call it the Foundations of Quality series. So it's these are typically 3-day classes. So they usually fly in on a Monday, and then they're there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and fly home on a Friday, and or drive if they're local. But it's 3 full days of training. We've got body repair training, so that's the structural end of it. And I'll show you some examples here coming up. We also have refinish training. Then we have a front office class. We call it the front office class. That's been a super pleasant surprise, and I'll explain why that is coming up. And then we also bring in the collision repair instructors from the tech schools, and there's a waiting list for all these tech school instructors to come into this training, and we do 2 full weeks of that with 2 different groups, and that's an eye-opener as well. And they do a 5-day week, so they get very extensive training, and it's something needed in the industry. And this is just one of the slides from the training, but I wanted to use this just to emphasize what we talk about, and our big focus is OEM. Right? We say that a million times during our training. Follow what the OEM says, do what the OEM says. We talk about where to get the information and to get the proper information and pull that proper information for the techs. And the one thing we've been seeing, just one example, is that when we talk to the front office people, we say, who pulls the procedures for the techs? And they do, usually, the front office people, whether that's a file handler or whatever. And we find out that they're just giving them the procedure, and they might not be giving them the welding information, which is all different for every manufacturer. The welding information, the weld test they need to perform, all that kind of stuff is not the same across all the OEMs, and they need to be giving them that kind of information as well. So those are some of the things we've uncovered as we do this training. But what we do, I'll just give you some examples of some of the hands-on things we do. This is what we do on day one, and the center picture is what they start off with. It's a mock-up of, like, could be a frame rail, could be a rocker panel, but it's a welded together panel, and then we have a replacement panel. So we actually section in a replacement panel. So if you look at the picture on the upper right, you can see we start to cut this apart, and this is one of the things, again, just one example, but one of the things we emphasize is not damaging the host panel when they cut these apart. Huge problem in the industry. I look on social media all the time and see guys taking pictures of their work or videos, and I can see they cut too deep, whether they drilled or they use a file belt sander, they go too deep and ruin the inner reinforcement. So we stress things like that, the safety and following the OEM information and doing it properly. So that picture on the bottom left is interesting because that's what usually happens when I cut the text loose and say, hey, cut the first 3 welds. And on the top of that part, you can see those 3 welds that they cut with a file belt sander where they ground way too deep. I don't give them any instruction. I just have them do it like they would in the shop, and that would be a disaster. They just ruin the reinforcement, okay? So if you look at the bottom of that panel, the 3 welds on the bottom, you can see after they get instruction, now they know how to do it properly, where they still have a weld nugget left on the flange, and they did not damage that inner reinforcement. Okay, so those are the kind of things we concentrate on. And then as you can see in the center picture, when we're about ready to put that section on there, we do squeeze type welding through adhesive on one side, and then we do the other side where we mag weld and use a weld through primer. So we're giving them the opportunity as they're doing these things to talk about all the operations and all the ins and outs. And as a matter of fact, we put up all kinds of OEM information to show that all the OEMs do this differently and they need to have that information. And then at the picture on the bottom right is when they're together, they're ready to weld. And then we spend a half a day on welding on that as well. So I'll talk more about that. But again, following the OEM, and we just pound that constantly. The other thing we talk about, and what kind of I brought to it, because from my ICAR experience, was I like to talk about the science of why. Because we tell technicians, do this, do this, do this. We never really explain why. And you can get down into the details and explain why that is, and then the light bulb goes on and they understand it. I'll just give you one example, like weld through coating. We talk about that all the time. Why do you use it? And we get all the way down into the electrical reaction between the zinc and the steel that it's going on and what happens in there to prevent corrosion. And we explain it through science. So that's another thing we really like to do, is talk about that science of why. And this is similar. This is just another, this is what we start off with on day 2. We do a deep dive into aluminum. And one of the things, again, we talk about is the science of aluminum. We don't just talk about how to work with it. We talk about the aluminum itself, that substrate, and how the grain structure is different than steel, and how when it bends, it actually locks itself in place. It's called dislocation, which makes it harder to straighten, and why you need to use heat. So all the science behind it is what we really get into. And then we do this hands-on exercise where they rivet bond these panels together. So they get the opportunity to use things like clecos and temporary rivets and deburring tools and a lot of things they've never seen before or used before. And then as we go through, you can see then we rivet these together using a bunch of different style rivets, 5 or 6 different style rivets. And the picture on the right bottom, that's the finished product. And then the bottom plate that you see there, we actually show them how to do flow form rivets. And that's a stepped out example of the flow form rivets. So the nice thing here as well is once we do all these projects, they go into a box with their name on it. We ship them all back to them. So they can use these in the shop to show other guys some of the ins and outs. So I don't need to go through and talk about the ICAR requirements, but we do give ICAR credits for these courses as well. You can see that the body repair, they get 5 knowledge skill area credits. And then the paint, they get 8. We currently don't do that for the front office class, but I think we're going to start doing that at some point. The other thing we introduced just recently, we're about to do our first session of this next week. We have a 1-day add-on for the ICAR welding test. So our facility is beautiful. We have great welders. We have 12 welders there, and with all the ProSpot cubes that they use. And they can come in and do the welding test. Now, they've already had 4 hours of instruction from the regular course, and then they would move into this, which would be the ICAR section, where they're actually taking the test on the 4th day. So that's something we started new. We talk about how to set up the welder, welding technique and theory, welding practice and destructive testing, a written test as well. So we go through all the welding in detail, and people ask us all the time, you're 3M, you don't sell welders, you don't sell welding equipment. Why do you do that? Because we want to upscale these techs. It's one of the biggest weaknesses in our industry is the welding. So we want to get them better. We have really nothing to gain by it, other than that it's an integral part of the repair process, and you know, we can really help them out with that. So we also have that ICAR welding test as well now. And these are some of the quotes, by the way. And again, you know, I won't read them all off to you, but there were some really unique ones and some fun ones where the guys would come through on day 1 and they'd come back day 2 and say, I didn't sleep last night because I learned I've been doing it wrong all these years. So there's all kinds of statements there. As you see, nobody ever showed me how to properly set up a welder. No training is offered in my shop. It was a great experience. So really, really good feedback from all the guys that we've had. And by the way, at our booth, we've had at least 6 or 8 students from the past stop in and just tell us how much they enjoyed the training. So thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Hope we see you at our training center at some point. Thank you.